I discovered that my fiancé had been sleeping with my sister for 2 years. So, during his speech at our engagement party, I projected the evidence on the wall and left them to cover the expenses. Where are you tuning in from today? Share your location in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales. I'm Chloe, and 3 days ago, I shattered my sister's world, embarrassed my fiancé in front of 200 guests, and left my parents with a $50,000 debt they can't repay. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision, it was a deliberate move I had been planning for exactly 72 hours. It all began on a Tuesday evening when my fiancé, Darren, left his laptop open on the kitchen counter. He usually worries about his devices, always locking them or taking them with him, even for short trips to the bathroom. But that night, he was in a hurry to meet a client for dinner, or so he claimed. I intended to close the laptop to clean the counter after making a salad. I wasn't searching for anything. We had been together for 4 years, engaged for 1, and our engagement party was set for that Friday. I had complete trust in him. As I reached to shut the laptop, a message notification popped up in the corner of the screen, linked to his phone. The name displayed was just Ass. I froze. The preview read, "I can't believe she still thinks you're in a meeting. You need to hurry. I'm wearing that red thing you like." My heart sank. I stared at the screen, my hand hovering over the trackpad. I knew I shouldn't look. Clicking that icon would change my life forever, but I had to know. I opened the Messages app, revealing a thread that went back 2 years. The contact wasn't saved by name, just the letter S, but I recognized the profile picture immediately. It was my sister's cat. My breath caught as I scrolled. This wasn't just a casual affair, it was a serious relationship running alongside ours. There were photos, videos, conversations about how annoying I was, jokes about my cooking, and plans for their future once he figured out how to leave me smoothly, or better yet, how to marry me, take half of my trust fund, and then divorce me later. One message from my sister, Sarah, made me rush to the sink to vomit. She wrote, "I love that we're doing this right under her nose. It makes it so much more thrilling." Imagine her reaction at the engagement party if she knew. I wiped my mouth and returned to the computer, feeling an unusual calm wash over me. I didn't cry or scream. Instead, a cold determination settled in my chest. I took out my phone and started recording the screen. I scrolled through everything, opened the photos, the videos, ensuring I captured clear shots of the dates and timestamps. I forwarded the most incriminating emails to a temporary account I created on the spot and downloaded the videos onto a USB drive I had in my desk. When I heard Darren's car pull into the driveway an hour later, I was sitting on the couch watching TV. The laptop was closed and exactly where he had left it. He walked in, smelling of expensive cologne and looking a bit flushed. "Hey babe," he said, leaning down to kiss my cheek. "Sorry I'm late." The client just wouldn't stop talking. I smiled at him, putting on the best acting performance of my life. "That sounds tiring. Did you at least secure the contract?" He grinned, that charming, crooked smile I used to adore. "I think it's in the bag. I'm going to take a shower." As soon as the water started running, I texted my sister. "Hey Sarah, are you still coming early on Friday to help with the setup?" She replied instantly, "Of course, sis. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Love you." I stared at the words "love you," feeling absolutely nothing. The following 2 days were a blur of preparations. I had to act like the excited bride-to-be. I visited the venue for the final walkthrough. It was a beautiful ballroom at the city's priciest hotel, a place my parents insisted on due to their obsession with appearances. They adored Darren for his good family background and high-paying finance job, and they loved Sarah because she was the golden child. I was always the quiet one, the one expected to settle down and be a good wife. I met with the event planner, a frantic woman named Jessica. "Chloe, everything is ready," Jessica said, showing me the seating chart. "We have the projector set up for the slideshow just like you asked. Did you send over the file with the childhood photos?" "Not yet," I replied. "I'm still editing it. I want it to be a surprise for Darren and my family. I'll bring it on a USB drive directly to the AV guy on party night." "Perfect," she said. "And the billing? Your father said to send the final invoice to him, but we need a credit card on file for any extra costs or damages." "Actually," I said, handing her a folder, "there's been a change. Darren insisted on covering the bar tab and catering as a gift to my parents. Here's his credit card info." I handed her the authorization form I had forged with his details. I knew his wallet inside and out, his social security number, his mother's maiden name, everything. I had authorized an open bar with top-shelf liquor, the surf and turf menu, and extended hours for the DJ. I wanted this bill to be enormous. Then I called the florist, upgrading the centerpieces to the imported orchids my mother adored but deemed too pricey. I called the bakery and added 3 more tears to the cake. I spent money like it was nothing, every penny tied to Darren or my parents. Friday night arrived. I took 3 hours to get ready, wearing a $4,000 dress charged to Sarah's emergency credit card that she foolishly left at my apartment a month ago. I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger who looked dangerous. The ballroom was crowded when we arrived. My parents were radiant, greeting guests and boasting about the union. Sarah was there, wearing a dress that was slightly too wide and slightly too short. She hugged me and I caught a whiff of Darren's cologne on her. They must have been together just before arriving. "You look beautiful, Chloe," she said, smiling. "I'm so happy for you." "Thank you, Sarah," I replied. "I have a special surprise for you later. I think you'll love it." She tilted her head. "Oh really? What is it? You'll see, I said, walking away before I lost my temper. I found the AV technician in the booth at the back of the room. He was a young guy wearing a headset. Hi, I'm the bride, I said. Here's the USB for the slideshow. It needs to play right when Darren starts his speech. He'll tap his glass, thank everyone, and then say he wants to share a glimpse of our love story. That's your signal. Got it, he said, taking the drive. Do you want me to test it? No, I quickly replied. It has some private moments. Just play it when he gives the cue and ensure the volume is up. The party was lively. People were enjoying the expensive champagne I had ordered. My father was holding court near the bar, looking like he owned the place. Darren was mingling, shaking hands and being the perfect fiancé. I watched them all from the edge of the dance floor, sipping water, needing to be completely sober for this moment. Finally, the moment arrived. The DJ lowered the music, and my father grabbed the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please, he boomed. The room quieted. I want to propose a toast to my daughter, Chloe, and her wonderful fiancé, Darren. We've waited a long time for this day. Darren, welcome to the family. Applause erupted. Darren stepped up to the microphone, looking handsome and self-assured. He took the mic from my father. Sarah stood next to the stage, looking at him with adoring eyes. I stood a few feet away, holding my clutch bag, which contained my passport and a plane ticket to Italy. Thank you, everyone, Darren said, his voice smooth. I can't express how lucky I feel tonight. Chloe is an incredible woman, kind, patient, and she inspires me to be a better man. I fought the urge to roll my eyes. We have a long future ahead, he continued. And I want to start by sharing something we put together. I want to show you all a glimpse of our love story. He gestured to the large white screen behind him. The ballroom lights dimmed and silence fell over the crowd. The projector sprang to life, but instead of a montage of us apple picking or strolling on the beach, the screen displayed a screenshot of a text conversation huge and clear. It was a text from Darren to Sarah dated 2 days prior. God, I can't wait to get this party over with so I can come over to your place. She's so boring in bed. I miss your body. A wave of confusion swept through the room. Someone laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. Then the slide switched to a selfie taken in a hotel room, with Darren and Sarah wrapped in a sheet, making faces at the camera. The date stamp was clearly visible in the corner. It was from last Christmas, the one where Sarah claimed she had the flu and couldn't come to dinner. Silence enveloped the room, heavy and suffocating. Darren turned to see the screen, his back stiffening. He dropped the microphone, which hit the floor with a loud screech of feedback. The slides continued to change. A video began playing, recorded inside Darren's car. Sarah was in the passenger seat. I don't know why you don't just dump her, Sarah's voice echoed through the ballroom speakers. Because of the trust fund, babe, Darren replied. We stick it out for 2 years, I secure the assets, and we're set for life. Plus, your parents adore me. They'll likely side with me even if we break up. A gasp rippled through the room. I glanced at my parents. My mother had her hand over her mouth, and my father looked like he was having a stroke, his face turning purple. Sarah screamed, turn it off. Turn it off. She lunged for the AV booth but was too far away. The video kept playing, cutting to another clip intimate and leaving no doubt about what they had been doing. I walked up to the microphone where Darren stood frozen, his eyes wide with fear. Chloe, he stammered, this isn't I can explain. I picked up the microphone he had dropped. No, you really can't, I said, my voice steady and clear. I turned to the crowd, 200 faces staring back at me, some horrified, others filming with their phones. I want to thank you all for coming. As you can see, the wedding is off, but please enjoy the food and drinks. The surf and turf is excellent, and the champagne is $50 a glass. I turned to my parents. Mom, Dad, you always said Sarah and Darren were the perfect match. Now they can finally be together without hiding. Oh, and don't worry about tonight's bill. I put it all on Darren's card. Since the venue required a cosigner for the damage deposit, I put your names down, Dad. My father finally found his voice. Chloe, what have you done? I did what I should have done years ago, I replied. I stopped being the quiet one. I looked at Sarah. She was crying hysterically, mascara running down her face, trying to hide behind a waiter. Sarah, I hope he was worth it, but knowing Darren, he's probably already texting your best friend. I dropped the microphone and it hit the floor with a heavy thud. I turned and walked out of the ballroom. Behind me, chaos erupted, my father shouting, Sarah screaming at Darren, glass breaking. I walked through the hotel lobby, head held high, right out the front doors and into a waiting Uber. To the airport, I told the driver. He glanced at me in the rearview mirror, eyeing my wedding dress, which I had torn at the bottom to walk more easily. Rough night, he asked. I looked out the window as the city lights blurred by. No, I said, smiling for the first time in 3 days. Best night of my life. I spent the flight to Italy sipping wine and blocking numbers on my phone. By the time I landed in Rome, my phone was bombarded with voicemails from my mother calling me ungrateful, texts from my father threatening to disown me, and hundreds of missed calls from Darren. But one email made me smile. It was a notification from the bank. I had withdrawn my entire trust fund the day before the party. This was the one account my parents couldn't touch, money left to me by my grandmother, who always disapproved of my father. I was free. A week later, I checked social media from a cafe in Florence. The video of the party had gone viral. Someone had live-streamed the entire event. Darren had been fired from his job. Apparently, his company didn't appreciate the bad PR from a senior analyst plotting to defraud a spouse. Sarah had been kicked out of her sorority and was facing online harassment. My parents were dealing with a lawsuit from the hotel because, in the chaos following my exit, a fight had broken out, destroying the expensive projector screen. I sipped my cappuccino, watching people walk by in the piazza. I was alone but not lonely. I had my freedom, my money, and the satisfaction of knowing I had served revenge not just cold, but frozen. They say living well is the best revenge, but honestly, watching their world crumble while I flew first class to Europe was a close second.